I don't know. I could get on board with like some get on board with some badass like doom music or something. To be like, oh my god, we're gonna die! Maybe. I don't know. Just to hyping everything up, right? Because we all need a good hype storm. Because media doesn't do that or anything for us or anything like that. So how are all of you guys? It's been a little while since I've had a chance to say hi to you, but since we've got a all county enhanced risk coming, the least I could do is come on and say hi and things like that. And first and foremost, thank you, Miss Michelle Tracy, for sponsoring the Damn Weather Memphis. You are a rock star badass. If you have not gotten your quarter to quotes for your car insurance yet, you should scan that little QR code right down there and make that happen. You want to know why? Because she actually saves you fucking money. She saved me a shit ton of money. Matter of fact, I think I need her to save me another shit ton of money. So, hi, how are you? Anyway, let's take a look. A lot of things are to the north right now, but there is this big ass, mean, huge, scary map that has gotten everybody talking. This is the day one of the SBC categorical outlook, and that big ass red thing is what moderates look like now. So granted, it's a little bit to the north and northwest of us, but moderates being that close usually mean that there's some collateral damage that happens, and we don't need any of that collateral damage today. Auntie Nature's been a good little grandma, or somebody. She's just been her. She's been minding her own business. She's been P's, Q's, the whole 9 yards there of not being a crazy bitch. And also I need to apologize. My regular boom mic went out, so I'm having to record this off of my webcam mic, and I know it sounds like shit because I've already listened to it a couple of times and was like, well, ooh, that's actually been updated since we've been talking. That moderate zone now actually goes into bits and pieces of Tennessee. Let me do force refresh maybe. Is the cache clear? Yeah, on that. Yeah, that actually looks like it's been expanded a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So there is actually now parts of Tennessee where Kentucky and Missouri and Tennessee all connect right up there in that bend that now actually reaches into the moderate risk as well. You see that all of our counties, Shelby and everybody adjacent, it is in the enhanced risk area. Let's take a look at probabilities. Tornado risks. I hit the wrong ass button for that. I'm trying to do this to where you guys can at least see it a little bit better. Oh yeah, it's just doing it in different tabs up here. Boom, there we go. So statistically, probabilistically, yeah, there's significant chances. All that hatched area means is like, again, they do different level of intensities now, and that started this last year, but prior, that hatch would just mean that there was 10% and above chances of EF2 and above. This is the first time that we have seen that tornado hatch in the intensity 2 range actually be within within our area. So this is going to be fun to look at here in a little bit. This is going to be the brown is the 5%, and we are just above that. We're kind of split. So everything above, Shelby and Tipton, Fayette, kind of are bouncing around that 10% range. The everybody to the south of that, it gets a little bit less favorable the further south that we're going. So with that, though, basically, let's say that we are on the northern part and we're in that yellow area there. Basically, it's a 10% chance. It's a 10% chance that at any point within that yellow line that there could be a tornado report, or not necessarily one on the ground, but just a tornado report, an event within 25 miles of any point. So technically, that also means that even right yonder, where the little mouse is. If you were to put your finger on the city of Memphis at the very low end tip of that, it is still a 10% chance that we could, have a tornado 25 miles south of there. So that's how that works. It's 25 miles within any. That was the fastest 17 minutes in the oven ever. Actually, that was probably just the preheat. So anyway, let's go and look at our other modal risks. Winds, yeah, winds are looking good and ripe. 45% is the pink. So anywhere within the pink, that's a little bit north of us. We're in the 30% range. So anywhere within that red mark, 25 miles of any point that you put your finger in that red mark is the probability of there being a wind event. At least none of those look too significant. For hail, this also is going to have enough lift and enough helicity to be an issue. As you'll see that we are also kind of deep in the red there. So that's also going to be another 30% of hail events with a intensity, the lower intensity, mind you, but still that it's going to be your golf ball size hail, things like that. So, guys, I'm also looking at this for the first time. I woke up and realized we all got upgraded today. So, I don't know much of anything of what's happening and what times or anything like that right now at the moment any more than you do. So, let's go take an MF look. Since my main day job is on hold for you guys to be able to get this out of me right quick. Let's see. So I'm looking at the HRRR. This is one of my two favorite short range models, and this is, let's see. So this is already, even though this is the latest run, this was set for 11 a.m. It's currently 12:30. So 12. 1, 2, 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. I'm sorry. You start to see what looks to be isolated cells pop up, probably just in front of a dry line. Again, I haven't seen any of this yet, but so those cells actually, these are just, again, my first response to this too. I have not looked at anything prior, but the fact that the cells are as spread out and wide as they are, that's already something to think about right there. Is that means that goes to show that we're not looking at, just our straight, kind of linear line of favorability. This already has the potential for cells to be widely spread out. Why does that matter? Because look at this cell that's over Jonesboro right now. Again, this is theoretical. This is 5 or 6 p.m. this afternoon. Yeah, that's 6. So let's say that this is what it looks like at 5 p.m. here in a couple of hours. That cell that would be over Jonesboro, when they are further spread out like this, and you see them, almost 100 miles away from each other, they have got a lot more energy that they can tap into in the atmosphere because they don't have cells 10 miles, 25 miles from them, all trying to fight for the same amount of instability. They don't, they've got a lot more direct access. If they can get through the cap and they can get far enough to reach, that super cold ass air, those are going to be the ones that actually do have the potential for your heavy, severe hail, and with enough spin, and if there's enough more conditions that go right, could be where you would see your long-lived, long-tracked, usually more violent tornadoes. So these are the ones that storm chasers truthfully lose their mind over, because there's not a whole shit ton of rain all around where these cells are. These, if these do produce anything today, you're going to have a lot of video on it. You're going to have a lot of eyes on them. You're going to have a lot of lead time for them, because you're going to probably have, I guarantee you, there's 100 chasers on each one of these cells that are already, being targeted. So this moves on to 6, 7, 8 p.m. You start to see what we normally see as a squall line. That's really starting to get clustered up there at 8 o'clock. Again, we call that a QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. One note there, it does look like it won't necessarily, at least per this model guide, it doesn't look like it might necessarily completely link up, all the way north to south. And it may have a couple of spots in there to where you know, some people might be able to kind of skirt through and get through. But when that happens, again, you've got this area to the south that may be able, like, let's, you know, here in Mississippi, as it comes into Mississippi from, you know, southeastern Arkansas, they might be able to tap into some energy in the atmosphere that our cells may not or may have already tapped into, which limits their overall growth. So at this point, I've done reached, it's midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so this will be I mean, if that's midnight, Miss Tracy, this might look like a 2 a.m. Lunesta clearance for you, okay? Now, this is all likely going to be one event here. I do know that, going back to the Storm Prediction Center here, we are also in a day 2. So this is a slight for day 2. So let's go over to a little bit of a longer running model and see kind of, so this model, this is the NAM, this is the high resolution North American model. It has, you can see a little bit different. It does not have as many widespread supercells. It's got a closer cluster of cells ahead of the main line, but it doesn't have them as far spread out. And then you see the line as it begins to link up and cluster up with each other. This is actually at 2 a.m. that it is showing it. So 4 a.m., 5, this is 6 a.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so it does appear that there is going to be a wave 2 on Tuesday, Tuesday afternoon, 4 p.m. All subject to change with variance. So, and then maybe even a little bit of junk after that, and tomorrow night too. Holy hell! Fun. Cue the doom music. Let's get more, you know, let's get more crazy shit. I'm not as much worried about the second wave just off the top of my head, but let's look at my favorites here. First of all, supercell composite. I look at it before I look at energy, just because energy is also a part of this parameter specifically. But the supercell composite is basically a product that takes about 3 or 4 different parameters and lumps it in and gives it a big ass number. And you want your number to be as little as possible. You know, smaller the number, the smaller the overall probability of the environment being favorable for supercell development. So just guessing that purple that you see, Hope of Missouri, that's probably around a 15 to a 20. Holy shit, that's a 30. Shit. So 30's bad, okay? Usually around 10 to 15 is where we start kind of worrying about it a little bit. But again, this doesn't mean anything's going to happen. This just simply means that the environment is ripe and favorable for the development of supercells. And of course, as supercells develop and they, you know, get into the longevity and the maturity of their life cycle, that's when you usually have hail, tornadoes, not as much straight line wind, but and whatnot. Wow, these are actually some of the best supercell composite numbers we've seen in a while. Let me get what time this is right here. This is 10 a.m., 11, 12. Wow. So even now at 12 and 1 o'clock, we are sitting at a 15, a 16. You don't see me freaking out. You don't see me freaking out. I probably should call work, though. Wow. I don't know if that's really anomalous or what specifically might be heading north with the windage there. Probably some shear breaking up. Either that or those are some of the front leading cells as to why those numbers drop from 15 to 0 right there. I'm not answering you. Actually, I wouldn't mind, like, any of you guys that that work there for the Memphis NWS, or if any of the broadcast Mets wants to actually um, take a peek with me and deep dive into that a little bit later. But I have a feeling that that specifically is the cells that are going to be ahead of the main line that stabilize that area of the atmosphere. But see, they go out pretty quick. So um, give me just a quick second, otherwise that shit's gonna keep beeping. That annoy the piss out of all of us. So, but anyway, that right there is said it's significant enough to truthfully understand why we are in the enhanced risk today. The sounding has even got possible hazard type as tornado indicated there. The effective layer that you see down there in the bottom right hand corner, that right there, it's actually based on the cape. That yellow line is kind of it's actually kind of higher than I want it to be, kind of yucky. That allows, based off of the cape and the where the cap is. Also with the STP, it's a different product. That's the significant tornado parameter. But with the amount of energy, we could see, high end EF zeros, higher end EF ones, average high end EF twos, middle EF3s, or low end EF4s based on the conditions that are available that are being computed right now. So again, I'm not freaking the fuck out, but everything is in the kitchen and cook everything that we need to make some junk happen later today is definitely here in the atmosphere. Just real quick, let me look at the overall cape numbers. If you see anything, above 3,000, which these outer blues, shit, are already at 2,000. Oh wow, that's a lot. All right, so even at 3 this afternoon, our cape values in the worst of the worst areas, like the highest possible cape value number. This isn't where it's going to be within the entire atmosphere, but the top end worst that it could be is around 3,000. That has more than enough juice to make some spin ups and some hail happen. Let's look at the surface space. This is, so pretty similar. So that also, again, is about 3 o'clock, 3,300. So that's telling me that the majority of the instability is here at the surface level as well. So as it continues to rise, the things that we don't need to see today, we don't need to see the sun anymore today. If you are seeing the sun, flip it off. Tell it, fuck off. Go find some work to do. Other than us, we don't need us to be the work that it does. The STP, which I was just talking about a second ago, so the significant tornado parameter, that is a much more conservative number. I'd be concerned more at any kind of 2.0 and above. You see some numbers up here; those are astronomical numbers for the STP itself. So this is also just one model. I'm sure that this is going to change. Do we have any mesoscale? We don't have any discussions up immediately. But the one that's to the north of us, increasing surface-based severe weather threat this afternoon, all hazards, it says will likely be required. I can tell you right now, given what happens in the next couple of hours, is going to depend on the watch products that we see, it will very much likely be, you know, a tornado watch that happens if we see a lot of the individual cells like this, like we did on the first model, it will come sooner. And this is 4 p.m. right now. So if we start seeing those pop up in Arkansas, and it's at 1:45 right now, let's actually look at the fucking radar. That looks good for right here, right now. But if these all start popping up here, here, we're going to see a tornado watch way before the line that ends up, you know, clustering up gets here, and we'll stay under 1 probably, you know, all the way through that comes. But if the line ends up clustering up, you know, it'll probably be much closer to 7 or 8 o'clock before we see it. So I guess let me go do some real work that, you know, pays, you know, what little bit of the mortgage I can pay around here, and work on that. And I will monitor and see what we have going on for a little bit later. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, but I have a feeling we're gonna see you again today. And again, Miss Tracy, thank you for all that you do. You fucking rock.